Do you ever wonder why people do the things they do? When I first moved to Alaska a decade ago, I encountered two social phenomena that really puzzled me. First, I couldn't understand why some Alaskans chose to live in dry cabins, homes that didn't have running water, neither hot nor cold water. I lived in a dry cabin for a while, and I discovered that there's this entire infrastructure built to support people who all live in these dry cabins. I call this my participant observation phase of my research on dry cabins in interior Alaska. Then what I wondered about was why people would pay so much money to live in dry cabins. I knew people who were paying $500, $600, even $700 a month for rent for a cabin that didn't have running hot and cold water. Where I'm from in North Carolina and Iowa, it would have been illegal for a landlord to rent a cabin that didn't have running water. And yet here I was part of a group of people who were paying what I now consider to be outrageous sums of money to rent a cabin that didn't have running water. And I have to tell you, I wondered about that. A second thing I wondered about was why the state allowed wolves to be killed from airplanes. The people I know in the Midwest and in North Carolina honored wolves, if they thought about wolves at all. Most people I knew would have been just horrified to hear that the state sanctioned the killing of entire wolf packs by automatic weapon from airplanes. It was just a totally foreign concept. And the more I read about wolf control in the newspapers, the more I wondered about this. And so I wondered about these two things: people living in dry cabins and the state killing wolves by airplane. And both of these ideas, which were my research wonderments, eventually led to research projects and to research articles and to conference presentations. I typically work in an inductive mode, and that means instead of testing an already existing theory or hypothesis, I instead start with my observation of the data, analyze my observations, and then let my analysis guide my development of theoretical ideas about the data. A different way to approach your research wonderment is called the deductive mode. When you use the deductive mode, you start with your theory or hypothesis and you gather data to test your theory or to test your hypothesis. Whichever mode you use, the inductive or the deductive mode, for the research wonderment assignment, let your muse wander out of your comfort zone for just a few minutes. Just pretend that you're a space alien and you're just suddenly plucked down in the middle of our society and you're seeing stuff for the very first time. Notice that even things that you take for granted might seem strange and, well, alien to you. Once you start seeing the things as strange, start to wonder about them. And pick the most intriguing of all to write up your research wonderment assignment. I'm looking forward to reading them.